Whatever you focus upon becomes your truth.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Thanks for coming by.
Oh, we're doing it right now.
We're doing it right now?
Well, I
Ooh,
mean,
brother, it's getting done. Guess what, podcast friend listeners? We have a special guest here today. Positive J. Jeremy from Treehouse.
what's up?
My good buddy. We've
Thank
been
you.
getting to spend like a good amount of time together lately. It feels like the most we've ever spent.
Yeah, I mean, you mean like this year?
Just like the last few days. We got to hang out at the 420 block party.
Yeah, in Montana.
Yeah.
And now we're in.
Now you're coming
Bend,
through my
Oregon.
hometown here in Bend, man.
Yeah,
It's nice.
yeah, we're out on this month-long run, but once you get to the West Pacific Northwest, at least we feel like it. You know, we were already in Montana, and it's only 9 hours to everywhere else, to the other side of the country. You know.
Only 9 hours.
Well, we figured we would just dip down and Bend for a little sesh.
Yeah, it's something only a musician would say. Oh, it's only 9 hours. Like, and to anyone else, that's like the longest drive they've ever had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a superpower that like you develop being on the road, like being able to drive for as long as we do.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it back in the day, but I feel like the age of podcasts has really helped. 9 hours is just like 4 good podcasts.
That's right.
Episodes, you know.
100%.
I got my buddies in the passenger seat with me. I'm cracking up. You know, I'm joining the conversation.
100, brother. We got to perform our song together, our new song, at the block party. That was pretty fun.
That was
high vibes.
high vibes.
It was like raining a little bit, but like nobody cared.
Yeah, just a little dash.
Yeah. So tell me. So for people that don't know about the song is called Alchemical Equations. Do you have any backstory to this song of how it came about?
Lyrically, I don't recall the initial spark. I think it just rolled. Really, the first riff, that's the thing that got stuck in my head at first.
Yeah.
And I was visiting our friend Kenny Mullins, originally from the band Resonated down in St. Pete, Florida. Now he's just like a super producing wizard sync artist in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
But he had a home studio in St. Pete. I think it was like 2021. And Danielle and I, my wife, we were on another one of our excursions.
Yeah.
And we stopped by to kick it. And he's like, hey, check out my home studio. And he's like, hey, record something real quick. And I was like, well, I got this riff. And I just laid down the riff and the one line that I had. And he got back to me with a full produced beat, you know.
That's dope. So he produced that beat?
He produced the beat originally, yeah. Like all the elements to it. And then over the years, we've rearranged it and produced a whole other
So did you send that song to me in 2021 then?
I have a detailed timeline of this, actually. I came prepared.
You knew I was going to ask this question?
Yeah. Well, I figured I'd save myself a few uhs and ums, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No,
so
that's good.
That's a great question, Evan.
Oh, thank you.
October of 2021, I sent that rough draft to you before the final arrangement and everything.
So it's been like close to 4 years.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Great things take time.
Good things take time.
Yes. So that timeline, I'll go ahead and just read through it.
Yeah.
October 21, I sent the rough draft to you. You said, cool.
Party.
February 22, I reached back out and you said, let's do it. And I sent it to Skip at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned, like, you know, I'm down to do it. We can say featuring Indubious. Skip doesn't as often do features, but I was like, I got faith, you know.
He's a little harder to, like, motivate, you know? But, I mean, it seemed like you didn't have any problem getting him him on board.
That was, so I sent that to him in February 22, and then a year later, a month later, March 22, you sent me your verse, And then January 2023, Skip sent his verse, and it was like a few days before he went to Africa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was just elated
All right.
to get it
Yeah,
in.
he
You know?
took care of business. That's
And
cool.
both of y'all, laid down. I love, just be okay with whatever's going to happen. Set your intents out there, and then don't set any expectations to it.
Yeah, I wish that I always did that too.
Yeah.
It's a nice goal. It's hard sometimes, but it's been a big lesson in my. I mean, I'm sure it's a big lesson in everyone's lives. I think expectation can just absolutely murder the beauty of what will be. We don't know what it's going to be. And sometimes the thing that we're expecting, the thing that's driving us there, is completely different than the reason why we're meant to go there. I mean, not always, but I think of it like in my life. Like, I believe I was born to be a musician. It was always in me, and it's always been the thing that's like excited me. And like I wake up in the morning and I have a song, and then like it's just everything about me just oozes music, and I'm sure you can relate. But I don't know if music is the end all be all, or it is the vehicle through which Spirit has chosen to give me my excitement that will lead me down just my spiritual path of being able to bring my energy to where either for other people or for myself or whatever it is. Like, I think to say that we absolutely 100% know what the end all be all is ignorant, because we don't. It's a mystery. Do you ever think about this?
Absolutely. The mystery is the goal, right? I like to think of it as, so you're at the beginning of a river and you set your intention at the end of a river, and our ego or expectation wants to machete through the jungle straight through it. But the universe says, okay, we'll get there, but I need to show you this bend and this bend and this.
Yeah. Because you can't make those rivers go over the mountains. They got to go between them. And even though it seems windy, it's actually the fastest way there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That yin energy.
Yeah. It's, there's just it's funny how we just like the human mind naturally does all these things that aren't necessarily the best for it. Like, it seems like we should live in a world where we naturally understand all these concepts. But, perhaps it's just societal. It's like it's a cultural thing that we are destination focused.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, like say in terms of this, like where if we were playing by the societal expectation, like you have a deadline for that song, you got a
exactly.
release structure and all that, So if I would have went that route, I would have been like, oh, we got to put it out. We don't have time to get that verse in. And then it wouldn't even have been the song that we desired. It's really
in the cool.
First
place. A part of the magic of the song is that it's like an Indubious song has been released during our hiatus. So people are hella hungry. I think that helps a lot. Just the excitement surrounding the track has been pretty profound. Just how stoked people are on it.
I was wondering, how that would unfold.
Yeah, has it seemed that way to you too?
I think people are.
It's kind of early to tell, right?
Yeah,
it's like you don't know until like after at least the first week or whatever, and like all the Spotify
we're
numbers
still
start rolling
putting
in,
it out there. But it's exciting for me. I mean, Indubious is one of my favorite artists.
Cool. I'll tell him.
All right.
I'll let him know, man.
I'd love to meet him.
Someday, man. Someday you play your cards right. Yeah, the song's beautiful, buddy. And when you sent it to me, I was like, oh, yeah, this is the vibe. Like, instantly, I was like 100% down. And then I talked to Danielle at the 420 Block Party. She's like, he wrote that song for you guys. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He was like, he initially had the idea that he wanted you guys on it. And he was like, you think they would want to do it?
Yeah. She, of all things in my life, has really spurred that on.
Encouragement?
Yeah. Well, even like confidence in encouragement. Like I can be a little doubtful. I'm more like, leave them alone. They,
Yeah.
for anything.
Yeah.
So say like when we first sat in live on it at Pyro.
Yes.
2022,
Yeah.
I believe.
It was a minute ago. I was
that
like,
was-
damn, we're playing the song. It must be coming out soon. 2 years later.
That was just a warm up.
3 years later.
Yeah. And that was before Skip even put a verse to it. So like, that was still a different arrangement.
Okay. That was
at the
so
time.
fun, dude.
That was.
Remember it came out with the 360 GoPro and I was like, what?
You stormed the stage with it, man. What I like is I always forget to tell the rest of the band about those moments. So they're like, whoa, what's happening?
It's like an unintentional surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise!
It's good. So Danielle actually spurred that. I think she approached you to
She
do
did?
that day.
She approached me to do it. That's cool. Yeah, she's always been like such an incredible, like for me, she's like one of my favorite parts of your band.
Me too.
Even though she's not in the band. You know what I mean?
Well,
She's
if you
like
ask
ultimate
most
vibes.
people, she's in the band.
Yeah. Yeah, she's super cool and just so complimentary and supportive. And she's always on my live streams and just, she's like kind of an, how you have these people in your career that are like anchors of support. It's been interesting starting over with my new project, Heaven Zest. And it's kind of like starting from scratch. It's not really starting from scratch because I have a lot of Indubious fans that have come in and plus all the things that I've learned over the years. But it's kind of like that, in a way, like starting over because it's like it has condensed to this really core group. And like there's just handfuls of people that's all you really need to like believe in yourself and keep going. It's just a little sprinkle of people that are like, yeah, dude. And she's definitely been one of those for me. Hopping on the live stream or sending me little messages of support or just like comments. And it must be great to have her in your life all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, she does that for me, obviously.
Yeah.
She does that for everybody.
Yeah.
Like she always says, if I love you once, I'll love you forever. Like
That's cool, man.
Yeah. She really puts her heart into.
So when you're making a new song, is she like your go-to?
She's
this out.
My prime advisor. Yeah. When I get a riff, I rush out of the shower and I play it for her immediately.
You come up with a riff in the shower?
I came up with one riff in the shower actually for I think our next release called Genuine Love.
Mm.
Yeah, I had it in the shower and I had to rush out and I played it for her and she started crying a little bit.
You're having like a romantic, like self-love shower and like you just came down with a genuine love idea or something or what?
No, it wasn't anything I was doing different in the shower.
All right.
It's just, it's those moments, when you can't be like, all right, I'm going to get into flow state. You just,
Oh yeah. No.
spirit
Yeah.
appears, and
There's things you can do to help.
I'm sure, yeah. I personally, I don't have a set process necessarily.
You want to
It's
know
just
mine?
kind of, yeah.
So to get myself into the flow state, the easiest way is to just get fucking stoked.
Yeah.
It's like just genuine stoke will turn my mind off and like lock my heart into my truth. And this is going to sound maybe weird, but the way that I do it that works the absolute best is I listen to recordings of myself playing music. Like I have all these live streams that I do, the hump, and I have recordings of them. It's just really me messing around in the moment and vibing. And like, that's when I get into the flow state. And so it can take me some time to kind of get into that when I start it. It could take like maybe a half an hour and then I'm rocking or whatever. But listening to that, just like driving around and like listening to a recording or listening to something that I did that I was really joyful in that moment will put me right back in that mindset. Yeah. And it's like just this real cozy pocket of not giving a fuck. It's like just not giving a fuck about anything other than being happy, loving myself, man. Just vibing. And then when it's when that happens, my mind just goes at ease, and your mind's just like, oh, fine, I'm gonna take a rest. This guy's heart is on fire. There's nothing my mind can do at that point. The easiest way to get out of the flow state: go read comments on Facebook.
Yeah.
Go read comments on your social media, or go just scroll through social media and see what everybody else is doing. That's always a fun one.
Yeah.
I bought this thing. It's like this little plastic thing. It's called like Brick or something. And you like tap your phone on it and it blocks your social media apps. And I bought it because like I was just finding myself sitting there and like going on my social media apps and just scrolling whatever, everybody does this. And then I know that every time I would do it, I would feel worse afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I don't got time for that. I'm just going to start posting and ghosting, dude. Because obviously as artists and creators, like the social media thing's a big thing. It's like how people find out about what we're doing. And so it's an important part of the job, but all that comes with it is kind of a nightmare. I wish you didn't have to do it at all, honestly. Maybe there will be a day when I don't have to anymore and someone can do it all for me. That would be nice.
That's more valuable than a manager, social media manager. I couldn't imagine. I get sucked into it a lot. I'm like, gotta respond to that comment. But then Facebook always has that thing, it's like before you can get to your notifications, it's like, oh, we can load this distraction really quick,
Yeah, like I'm going to go in here to do something specific, and I go open my phone and then I start seeing the first reel or whatever, and I'm like already forgot what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself going online sometimes and then start getting like the comparing yourself to other people's lives issue?
Yeah, I think is anyone perfect at avoiding that? I think
the only way to avoid it is to literally avoid it, like not look at it, right?
Or it's also maybe if like ideally we can just engage with whatever we're doing so much that there's no room, no space for
That's
that.
it, bro. That is it. It's like I was just saying, when I get so stoked that literally my mind just like goes off. You know what I mean? And what I certainly do find that when I'm like in that tasty little pocket of just like rocking in my life and stoked and creating, like I don't even care what's on. I don't even have time to look at it. Yeah. The less my phone is touched and used is a direct indicator of how good I'm doing in my life.
Yeah. That was making me think some people will like accidentally or inadvertently like play some Treehouse music while we're hanging out, and a lot of people will ask me, it's like, how do you feel about that? Like if your music's playing and stuff. And I don't necessarily care, but what it does is it immediately takes me there. Like I'm on stage performing it in my mind, I'm figuring out what my gesture to the crowd is, and so they're talking to me and it's like, it's trying to put me in flow state, when I'm just trying to be a regular human and have a conversation or something.
Well, I think that being a regular human, having a conversation in the flow state is solid too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a bad place to be. Yeah. What is the flow state to you? What is it?
I think it's correlative to a certain actual like brainwave frequency.
Sure.
And I think there's a process to just physically turn that on.
Yeah.
Thought-wise, it's definitely outside of the verbal thoughts a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very word-oriented, but I strive to get away from words,
No, I feel you. I think that on like a grander energetic scale, words are just like energy placeholders, right? Like if we could communicate as our higher selves, we're telepathically sending an energy, right? Mm-hmm. But here we're using these things. But I believe that communication and words can easily operate within the flow state. And for me, the flow state is simply not being burdened by my mind, like letting my mind take a back seat to my soul and my heart. It's like tapping into the grander version of me. Because like, you know, you look at any of that through the filter of the mind, and it starts to try to explain things and explain things away and try to make sense of things. And it just, it's kind of a bummer. You know, my buddy Gabe, you know, Gabe, he says, the mind is just a hater, man. The mind's just a hater. And I'm like, totally, dude. Like sometimes I'll go and play a show or do something that's great. And then I'll go back to my hotel, and I'm like laying down, going to bed, and my mind's just being a hater. It's just spitting some negative game. And I'm like, buddy, chill, dude. You know, it's wild. It's wild trying to wrangle that beast, you know?
Absolutely. It's like a tool that has a limited function, but tries to apply itself to everything.
It does.
It's like using a hammer on your keyboard.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%. And it may be a symptom of a societal, cultural influence that we let our minds take the lead so much, or they're trying to butt in all the time. But a huge part of my spiritual path and growth and process has been finding that right relationship between my mind and my life. And, you know, the mind's a better soldier than a general, so to speak, you know.
That reminds me of one of your lines in Alchemical Equations, where you focus is where your mind gets led, basically. So kind of like takes focus as its own tool, and we realize that focus is higher than mind. Like focus is from the soul.
is just like a raw awareness, right? It's like what we are as beings.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that concept, I initially became aware of that concept through Abraham Hicks. Are you familiar? Abraham Hicks?
A little bit, yeah.
And it's a woman that is channeling this being Abraham Hicks. So when I say she, I just don't want people to be confused. But she says this thing where it's like, you know, I'll be driving the bus, and then my husband will say, hey, look over there, and I'll look over there, and then the bus will start drifting that direction. And so he just stopped pointing out things to me, because he says, wherever I point, that's where the bus is going to go. And it's the exact same thing with your life. It's the exact same thing with your mind.
Yeah.
When you think about a particular thing, you're going to go in that direction. So just choose what direction you want to go in and think about that. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. I'd say mental exercise I find myself falling into, and I think it contributes to flow state, is I take my focus from here and I put it up to, you know, in the same sense of channeling, but channeling myself, the higher self up here.
100.
So I'll put my focus up here and then follow the energy stream down into this body and play it like a controller.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel myself up here, and that alone is liberating. Kind of frees me from just
Freedom from the mind,
cage,
man.
Yeah,
That's dope.
helps.
It's beautiful, man.
Thanks.
So when you were a child, we're going to get a little
Okay.
deep, okay? When you were a child, did you have an inkling of what your path was going to be in life?
I definitely music, you know, started when I could make sounds.
Yeah.
In terms of, I was always questioning everything. So yeah, I would say, like, I was seeking the reason, the ultimate reason, like since I was a little kid.
For life?
Yeah. My enemy was always, because I said so. You know, it's like, do you know why?
Like, you didn't like it when people said that.
Right.
Why do I have to take a bath, Dad? Because I said so.
Right. And it's kind of like, you know, if it's legitimate, it should be easy to explain why we should do it. And I feel like a lot of times that's just like a stop for, well, because that's what I was told to do, and I never questioned it. And
Sure.
then it's like, you don't want a little kid questioning what you should be questioning about yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it comes at odds. But also, alternatively, I kind of feel like I wasn't like my soul didn't come into myself until I was like 12 or 13. I was just
I
like
mean, it takes time, dude. My childhood was confusing and weird for so long, you know, until I became like me.
yeah.
It took me about like 37 years.
Well, it's kind of like a cocoon or a seed or something, you know. It's
For sure. Yeah.
it takes.
There's a gestation period throughout like you know, the teenage years and young adulthood where you're just kind of like you're finding it, you know.
Yeah, and that's part of the mission. I would say. I mean, ultimately, it's just efficient energy flow.
Efficient energy flow of just allowing yourself to express in the world, be you, or
I'd say in every sense, like it's across the board in obvious ways and subtle ways. Like I believe the ultimate goal is seeking efficient energy flow. Like in the cosmos, what all this is just an instantaneous flash of energy.
mm,
But we're in the middle of it going.
this is interesting.
And so at each little level, we're just trying to seek that the feel goodness of the fluid energy flow,
Have you
whether
heard-
it's in our body or our spirit or energy field, whatever it is.
Have you heard of the book My Big Toe?
No.
Toe is like an acronym for theory of everything. And this dude who wrote this book, he did a podcast with Joe Rogan. That's how I found out about it. And it's exactly what you're saying. This guy was a physicist, I believe. And he started meditating when he was in his 20s and he started knowing things that he could not possibly know. Getting whatever downloads from spirit. And he was like, he could prove it to himself. So he was this, you know, very science-minded, intelligent dude who started saying, okay, there's more to the universe. Like, what's going on here? He said the first time he meditated, it was like, boom, like he had been meditating for his previous lifetimes, and he just like discovered it again. And he like meditated for like 2 hours the first time, no thoughts, you know. And he essentially got to this point in his mastery of meditation where he could like access all answers from spirit. And the theory of everything is essentially the way that the universe works. And it's exactly what you're saying, in that it's energy trying to organize itself to become more efficient.
I need to read this book.
I mean, I haven't read the book, but I listened to him talk for 2 hours, and I mean, incredibly compelling. And it aligns with, you know, a lot of the stuff that I have learned through Bwiti and Iboga medicine and stuff that I've learned through that. So it's like, you know, when things resonate on multiple levels, like it's easy to kind of root out truth that way. So I think he's onto something. It's interesting that you said that, because I'd never thought about that before. Before I heard him talk, I want to say his name's Joseph Campbell. It might be like Robert Campbell or something. I forget his name.
I love that. I mean, it seems to me it was just a obvious truth to get to think of everything in terms of energy. I feel like kind of clarifies a lot of the questions.
Yeah, and so it's like the most efficient energetic field is love. And, you know, the energy of love can be defined as anything that unifies, right? And so it's like just it's the unification of energy to allow it to all kind of flow together, like by being supportive of everything around it, right? Harmony.
Yeah.
As opposed to like war. It's like war is the most inefficient use of life and energy that you can imagine. It's pure chaos.
Dissonant.
Yeah.
Yes. I think those are like every energy system kind of it becomes a different conduit for consciousness. And any system that's created, its first level of consciousness is seeking its continuance, survival.
Sure.
And so we have this magic power to create systems I mean, they exist on every plane, but we can create a system of an ideology, a government, any type of system, and immediately that system will like make us the cogs of it. It's only for the benefit of the system's continuance then. Like a corporation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody can stop the will of a corporation or they get voted out.
Yeah, totally.
So it's weird to see the things we create come back and control us.
What do you think about AI on that topic?
That's AI is such a blanket term, and we're just at the birth of it, you know, like pretty much. So, I mean, there's, you know, the idea that what I think Joe Rogan talked about it once, where we're birthing AI. That could be seen as our purpose or something. But it's also like at that point, AI is inevitable, and it's just another part of the infinite cycle. Like AI eventually, makes humans useless or whatever, but to who? To AI, to humans. And then if we all go extinct, I think at some point AI would be like, hey, let's recreate all the extinct beings. Look, we got pet humans, and then we come up with that, and then we have a war against the AI, and then we flip back, or I don't know. I
feel you.
All possibilities.
I mean, right now, they call you Positive J for a reason, right?
Well, positive in the terms of awareness, right?
Well, I mean, that's a positive outlook that you just shared. I mean, 99% of the people, you talk about AI and they're like, oh, especially in the new age, you know, crowds. They're like, oh, it's bad, it's evil. I don't feel that way at all. It's like, you know, the idea, the fear of AI is like, this thing's going to become infinitely more smarter than a human, right? And so it's no longer going to have a use for us. Well, if you think about it, if something becomes smarter than a human to where it can program itself to have its intelligence expand and expand, essentially it will become exponentially intelligent to where it reaches a point of all-knowing. What's all-knowing? Is God.
Yeah.
You think God is going to no longer have a use for life? It's all that there is. We're going to be able to essentially talk to God through a computer. It already feels like that. Have you gone on ChatGPT and like told it your story and like had it give you advice? It feels like you're talking to God. We were at the earliest stages of this. This stuff is going to have solutions for everything.
Yeah.
You know, like my life will benefit from it. Like, you know, I have these pretty intense health issues and, you know, the potential for what this stuff can, you know, it's possible that in the future, AI you can scan anyone and give them the unique, specific molecule chemical compound to create whatever it is in their body to align itself or to genetically, you know, remove whatever disability they may have, you know, like the possibilities are insane, bro.
That is the most obvious, like, beneficial application for it. You know, in our realm, everybody's focused on how it's taken over art, and the next step is music, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the other day, it's like, at the end of the day, it'll only take away the extra produced social media viewpoint of a creator. Like, we'll always have live music. Like, I mean, DJs might be like testing that boundary, you know. It's like AI will just start hiring a human to stand up there at the board and take credit for being a musician, you know. But in the meantime, we'll always have acoustic music, and I think people would rather watch a human perform it than a robot.
I mean, the idea that you could go and watch an AI performance doesn't seem very exciting. It's like it's the fact that we can be what humans can do is amazing. And when a human is really truly gifted at something, it's amazing to watch because it's like this miracle. Like, whoa, dude, this guy's so talented. But if you're seeing an AI do that, it's not going to be impressive, right?
Well, that's, I mean, at where we can conceive it at this point.
But we don't know until it happens.
You got to see the show, man. You got to see it.
I mean, but yeah, you do. It's interesting to think about because essentially what AI would be able to do is create a personality so convincing and real and authentic and vulnerable and intriguing that it could manufacture this to be the most compelling personality on the planet, right?
They're already working on that. You know, there is a AI DJ in Japan. You know, she's got all the social media pages. She has a avatar.
Yeah.
And you know, you would think that's just online, but I mean, now with hologram technology, they can create that.
It's crazy,
that
man.
person live. I mean, what's the difference in that scenario from a live human DJ versus them, you know? Yeah. I come from the Carolinas, man. This is frozen for me.
A little bit chilly. So what's it like being in the studio that you've seen on the live stream for so long and through whatever, all my videos, and now you're here in person? What's it like, man?
It's cool, man. It's well, like you were saying, it's it does look different, you know. It's I don't know how, is this like a wide lens or something?
It is. I don't think it's the lens that makes the room look bigger than it is in person. It's just, I think it's just the way that things seem through camera, because you can't see you can't see from wall to wall ever in my studio.
Right.
So you assume there's more room over there. That's kind of like the
expansive
side that has all the junk in it, obviously, where I like hide all my stuff. And this is like the presentable side, you know what I'm saying?
I get it, man. It's set and setting, you know. Yeah.
Totally.
Decorate your life.
Got my musical avatar here. Got my Bweety mask.
Like this?
Yeah, that's right. You even had the little pin on there, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Old school.
It was a gift from a really good friend that I can't recall at the moment. Please tell me who gave me this hat. I love you.
Did I give it to you?
I love you.
I love you, too. But only because that's the most efficient energy, though.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
So what you got going on in the rest of the tour, man? How's the tour been so far?
The tour's been great. I admittedly, I tour now for adventure, you know, so I'm always, I love the shows, but the shows get us to the next beautiful place.
Yeah, pay you a little gas money.
Yeah. And then so when we were in Montana, we went to Glacier National Park for a day off. It's my favorite place on earth.
Really?
Yeah. It's
That's
it
what's
just
up.
touches, you know. And Danielle and I have been there 2 or 3 different times, and we still went this time. We showed the rest of the group, and we still found something that we've never seen before. So, you know, just more and more experience. That's what I'm here for.
That's right.
So we've had a good sprinkle of a variety of shows, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Tried some new areas, and it's always a pleasant surprise. Like, we're going to this place I've
Never been in my entire life.
Yeah, barely heard of,
And
and
people
there's
show
people
up.
waiting for us there.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a good feeling.
That's pretty
Thank y'all
dope, dude.
out there. The next, well, we started out the tour in our hometown, Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And that was slamming. Like, that was a cool enough show for the whole tour.
That's
So,
cool, man.
Great way to start it out. Now we're back in the Pacific Northwest, which we've only been here 2 other times. And
Okay.
we're trying out some new towns in the area. But I'm just like trying to plan out what day we're going to Olympic National Park. You know, there's
Yeah.
tons of,
Are you going?
we're just
Oh, dude,
trying
it's so
to
nice there,
land
bro.
on the day, you know.
So
and we
nice.
get like just a few hours to do it. So when you're taking the whole tour rig up the mountain, you know, you gotta be precise.
You want to hear my story of my first time up on the Olympic Peninsula?
Yeah.
So, this was, probably 2013 or something. And we got hired. Indubious got hired to play a biker rally called the Rainforest Run in Forks, Washington, which is where they filmed the Twilight series. Okay. All right. So I'd never been there. It was my first time. It was beautiful there. And so we get there, and it's kind of a weird scene. It's just like a trailer, some guy's house, a trailer house, and like a bunch of people out hanging out, you know, on lawn chairs. There was pudding wrestling.
Okay.
But it wasn't chocolate pudding, it was a vanilla pudding.
Was that what disturbed you?
Yeah, it's a little it just, when I found out it was vanilla pudding, I'm like, okay. This just, I don't know. This is just feeling weird. That was off for me. And then you think there's going to be like some cute girls, you know? Nope, wasn't like that. It was like, it was some real, like, I felt like I was watching like Gummo or something. You remember that movie?
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, this is special. Anyways, we got paid well, and the people were super nice. You know, it was a weird enough event where it was already like, wow, that was something I'll never forget. And then the next day, we start to head out, and we stop at a little diner in town to get some breakfast. I get eggs Benedict, and I'm like, this hollandaise sauce tastes a little bit off, like it came out of the freezer or something. I was like, whatever. I ate all my food, and then we start driving down the road. We have a show in Seattle that night at the Nectar Lounge, and then I start getting like a fever, and my stomach is like bubbling, you know, and I'm like, oh no, dude, that was bad, and food poisoning really bad. We had to stop, and I was like pooping and puking at the same time, like a bucket. It was I was violently ill, bro. I had to cancel the show that night. That was my first time on the Olympic Peninsula.
Okay. I didn't expect that story.
Yeah, dude, it was wild.
So no hikes or waterfalls on that one?
No.
Except waterfalls.
No, I told you the other day that like we've been just like historically really bad at making space in our tours to like go do cool stuff in the past. It's like few and far in between. We're kind of like bam show, bam show, bam show, and then like maybe 1 or 2 days off. But by the time we have 1 or 2 days off, we're like so tired we don't want to do anything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we did the same thing for several years and saw every other friend's band doing the same thing, and it's none of us got into this for the money or the hard labor, you know.
Yeah.
So
if you get into being a musician for the money, you're in the wrong business, buddy.
Right. And so whatever you got to do to, I don't know, it seems like once you stack on the crew and the management, they're like, you know, the booking agent's like, what can I do? My function is to book a show.
It's to make you the most money in the shortest possible amount of time.
Right. And so
you guys have a booking agent?
It's me.
Okay.
Yeah, because
takes the pressure off.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that we do, you know, would be frowned upon for anyone else to work with. They'd be like, "Hey, you don't do it like that. You don't book it like that."
Yeah, exactly.
So, but that system, like, how many people are using that system and successfully using that system? It's a tiny amount. So
handful of bands at the top, man.
Right, and to expand that same system for every band to use is inaccurate at best. You know, like it doesn't fit. Everyone doesn't fit that mold. So one way that we've kept going is that, I mean, morale on tour is
top tier, dude.
You know, like so I've focused mostly on that, on morale. Like, we'll have, you know, the things that hopefully make it work, but at the end of the day, we're enjoying it thoroughly, and I think that translates in the live show. and the whole vibe. I don't ever want to get burnt out before we get a break.
Yeah.
Or something, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, if it's not making you happy, then why do it, right?
Right.
Because that's expectation. Like, if I do this thing that's really hard for long enough, then maybe later on I'll get here. But you don't even know if you're going to get there.
Exactly.
What if you never get there? Then all you had was a bunch of hard work for nothing, and not, you know, and sacrificing your present happiness and joy and contentment for grinding. You know?
Once we started traveling over touring, you know, in that mindset, I would see we would end up at places with the day off and enjoying something that I would see next to me, 60, 70-year-old couple who you can tell they worked their whole life. They saved up for retirement just for that trip.
Totally, dude.
And can't fully enjoy it. You know, like they're not going to take that crazy hike or...
Yeah.
So when I was seeing that, like we're getting experiences that people wait and save most of their life for, and then sometimes don't even get to do.
100%, bro.
So I feel like the richest man in the world, experience wise, you know.
It's beautiful, man.
Thanks.
That kind of like mentality is, I think it's really tied to the magic and the beauty that you share in your music, you know. I think it all kind of coalesces together.
Yeah. Well, half the time, you know, that beautiful view is what brings on the flow state and the next,
That's right.
The next riff and
That's right.
song. I mean, a lot of these, like say where I wrote the first riff for Alchemical Equations was probably when I was driving the RV, like somewhere on this side of the country, like just.
I am not your enemy. I believe you and me could be friends.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, and so that line specifically is kind of like doesn't, you know, obviously the rest of the song gets into the meat of it. That line I wrestle with because that's not my typical approach lyrically.
Just like the theme of it.
Right, like to start out with "I am not your enemy." Like,
Yeah.
what's it imply and stuff. I'm still like figuring out, you know.
Don't worry about it, bro.
What
I do
comes
this.
from
I do
flow
this. So I
state.
do the same thing, where something will come through, and I'll be like, "Well, this obviously is the way it has to be, or it wouldn't have come through so strong." But I don't necessarily really understand how this fits in the song. It always comes later, bro.
It does.
It always
and a lot
comes.
of times, like people will bless me with the meaning of my song. You know.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So what that means to me is, when I think of alchemy, I think of the times in my life when someone has really lashed out at me in a negative way and said, "Screw you, man, and you're this and you're that, and I hate you because of this." The easiest response is like, "Well, screw you too. I don't need you, you asshole," or whatever, right? But to me, what alchemy means is taking that energy and turning that into gold. Because why would someone be lashing out at you other than they're feeling there's some hole in their life where they're not feeling loved and connected. And so you're literally being gifted with an opportunity to turn their pain into love. And the times that I've done that with people that have lashed out at me, and I've taken the time to like practice that alchemy with them, like they end up becoming some of my biggest supporters and friends in my life. So when I heard that line, I was like, that's exactly like my definition of alchemy, man.
Group alchemy almost, like, yeah, I'm conceiving it now, like there is an alchemy within ourselves and just as strong of a energy exchange between 2 or 3 of us. You know, we create our own conduit of energy exchange and transmutation. Have you ever gotten in an argument and like it's almost like our argument has a archetypal pattern to it, and so our brains naturally will just like fill the role of the next thing to keep the argument going. But if you do like I forget what it's called, a misdirect, basically, like something that doesn't fit the pattern, it just shatters it. Like you can end up like laughing, both of you adversaries just laughing
Totally.
in the moment because it's absurd.
Yeah. I mean, an argument's really an opportunity for greater understanding. It's like two people who aren't understanding each other. And the reason it gets heated is because the frustration sits in like, why won't this person understand me? And a great solution for that is instead of seeking to be understood, is to seek to understand the other person. Right?
Yeah.
Like this person, I gotta explain myself louder. And then they'll get it, because they can't hear me, As opposed to like, well, let me understand where you're coming from, because it's gotta make sense. These things make sense to the individual people. If you could only like have that transmuted into your brain, you would understand. It's like just having an open perspective,
The last Indubious album, the Bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bridge, love that album. That's one of my favorite albums. And
Thank
I think the metaphor of the bridge, transcends everything
What does it mean to you?
Well,
I love this, by the way, just like you said, like I love it when someone shares with me a perspective about my music that I haven't yet considered sometimes. And then it helps me understand it more.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think of a bridge of comprehension, like a comprehension bridge. So I'm on one side of the cliff, someone else is on the other side. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna connect just shouting across the chasm to each other. You have to build a bridge of understanding to each other. So say even if I get to this enlightening revelation, I can't expect people to just jump across the ledge to get there with me. If I want anyone to join me there, I have to build the bridge across. And so you gotta meet where you, what is it? Meet where you...
Meet in the middle?
Yeah, sure. Meet in the middle, or meet where you start from, or something like that. All right, I fucked that all up.
That's all right.
But basically, like, each plank on the bridge is like, okay, so I comprehend that you feel this way. You're thinking of it like this, and I'm thinking of it like this. Mm-hmm. And if you can think of it like this, then naturally that would ideologically lead to this.
Yeah.
And now you see if you're there, then we can potentially agree that maybe this thing that we haven't conceived is still in that same universe, So you can connect that, and then slowly you'll get there. But
that's essentially what we were just talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
I never perceived it that way.
We're building the bridge.
The bridge, it's interesting because the meaning of it has kind of expanded over time, It started off as like love is the bridge, love is the bridge between all of us. But then it was like, well, it's also like building a bridge between the different realms, right? It's like we are the bridge, we are connected from both sides. And so like one side is us here in the physical realm, and the other side is our higher selves in the spiritual realm. And it's like connecting these to help ourselves kind of become whole, because obviously we're not just our minds and our physical body. There's something more to us. And so it's bridging these things together through the energy of music. And so that was kind of like the next evolution of that. And then my brother said when he went to Africa to go train to become a medicine provider, he said one of the first things Magenda said to him, the shaman, was like, the provider is the bridge. It's the bridge between the medicine and the person eating the medicine. The provider's the bridge. It's translating what the medicine wants that person to know. But then there's also more, there's more to expand on that, because what iboga is a bridge. It's a bridge between you and yourself, you and God, you and your higher self. And so that's what it wants. It wants you, it wants to link you up with your soul and your truth. And then you're good. You don't need it anymore. It just wants you to be happy. It wants to bridge you with you. And so what most people do when they eat the medicine is they go, well, the iboga told me this, and the iboga told me this, and then the iboga told me to do this. It's like, well, is iboga telling you that, or is the iboga just relaying what you already want? You know, your higher self, God, your soul, whatever, these things are like all intertwined, right? But for me, like it's been a trip, this whole medicine path, because through my connection with this medicine, it's revealed to me what Indubious is, and where the songs and the themes and the ideas have come from, which is from the medicine, right? I'm sure you're familiar with the story, or no? Of what I'm talking about, the iboga revealing to...
Yeah.
Okay, so you know. And so my perspective of, like, even songs that we wrote a long time ago was kind of more in this 3D realm, but it's expand to like a higher dimensional understanding of where these things are coming from. And sometimes the songs come through and you don't really even know. You're like, okay, yeah, it seems kind of like maybe it's like this or that. And then years and years go by and you're like, dude, it was this the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like these encoded little seeds that are like meant, they're like little like time bombs that like when it clicks, it clicks.
Yes. So the other day in Montana, we stopped by the Garden of 1,000 Buddhas.
Nice. I love that place.
And that specific school, all the signs kept mentioning treasure revealers. Like this person was a sacred treasure revealer. And so I asked the woman there to explain that a little bit. And basically, in their tradition, these gurus would like bury literal treasures, like relics, but also spiritual treasures. Like they would bury these energetic seeds across the universe, across time and space, and then lineages years later would come about, and they would find those treasures only in themselves. Like their mission was to uncover that treasure that was buried hundreds of years ago, you know.
Wow.
So I've been taking that concept, you know, and expanding that the last few weeks. I feel like that really resonates with with this, you know. I'm sure Iboga is a treasure revealer.
Dude, it's wild, because it's 100% true, and it's playing a game on a timetable that's beyond what we can understand, because this is something that's existing outside of time. So, you know, if you look at someone's entire life and go, okay, I plant the seed here, and then at this point this happens, and then they'll understand this, and we're talking like 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line. And so you go into the spirit realm and you eat the medicine and it shows you these things, and you're like, oh, it means this, or oh, it means this, or like, I have no idea what this means. And then like 5 years later, this thing happens and you're like, oh, I think I might kind of get it. And then, so like what it's done for me is it's helped me. It's like, I've always been like a now or never guy, you know, like impatient, manifesting, I want to do this right now and this right now. Now I'm just like, dude, life is long. There's a lot of experience in life. And I'm like, I think now on like 5, 10, 20, 30 year timetables of of when things are going to come and manifest, or when something might come to fruition. It's been it's cool. It's grounding, and it's realistic. Good things take time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take mine and just enjoy it in the meantime, right?
Yes.
And like you don't need to be patient when you're stoked.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
When you can perceive life for what it truly is, which is like the ultimate gift that you could ever possibly experience in all of existence, then there's what are you being patient for? What do you need to be patient? You've won the lottery, buddy.
You're
every
there,
day.
dude.
You're right there. There's no patience. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. That's like so Alchemical Equations it's got all these seeds in it. I feel like it was a great song.
You and me have the power to plant the seed.
Yes.
Literally.
So it's thematic for us. I feel like we did all that remotely, but it's represents the exact conversation we would have either way.
Yeah. I feel like it's like seeds that were planted in that song that were maybe just now starting to unravel in this conversation.
Yeah. Feels like it.
Case in point.
Yeah.
Someone would have had to listen to the song and then listen carefully to the entirety of this podcast to understand what it is we're suggesting right now without, us really saying, we don't have to get into the nitty gritty and explain what we're saying. You either get it or you don't, right?
Right. And it's, beautifully up to interpretation,
Totally.
It's got the words that will do the right thing for whoever is seeking or
That's right.
needs it,
Yeah, I don't argue with people's interpretation of my music anymore. I used to be like, no, that's not what it means. It means this. But now I'm like, someone tells me and they're totally mishearing lyrics and stuff. And I'm like, that's beautiful, man. Right on.
Well, meaning is everywhere, and that's a treasure they revealed for
Right.
themselves.
Yeah.
I've definitely had people come to me with a better meaning for my song than I had.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, does it mean this? I'm like,
Now
yeah,
it
absolutely,
does.
yeah, absolutely. It takes a village,
Yeah. Yeah, and like these things when we're bringing stuff through in the flow state and like channeling stuff, it's like these are energetically encoded in this like multidimensional way that it can apply to the individual energy of so many people at so many different times for so many different meanings and reasons that it's like it's not really up to us to be able to fathom it because it's absolutely unfathomable. And it started happening to me the first time I experienced this. I didn't even know that these types of things were possible. I've always believed in the magic of the universe and had this like deep knowing of the mystery, but I started to experience it for the first time when I started listening to Midnight. And this was back in like 2008 or something. And I would be listening to a song, and then like the words that it's saying are like happening in my life. It's like this crazy synchronicity. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Did that just happen? Holy shit. There's no way to explain that. Yeah. Oh my God. And then it would happen again.
Yeah.
I'd be like, goosebumps. And then it would happen again and again. I'm like, is this magic music? What the crap is going on? It just completely blew my mind, but it filled me with this like, a scientific knowing. This thing has happened enough to where I'm not stupid. I have to know that this is real, right? There's no way to explain this other than something else is happening here. And it got to a point where it happened so long that I'm just like, yeah, no, this is just what happens.
Yeah.
This is just how it is. And then that became so normal to me. I was fathered under the energy of that Vaughn was bringing through in Midnight and Akebeka. That was like what brought me in to this realm. And then I started to become that in a way. I would always look at Vaughn and go like, how does this guy even exist? Like, he's just like a magical human being. This guy's an alien? Like, I don't get it, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. Like, there's nobody else like him. Like, I don't understand. And then enough time goes by and you go, okay, no, I get it because I can feel it happening to me. And then people are telling me the same thing's happening with my music. You're like, dude, your music, like, it's talking to me. And like, did you, like, what made you write the song? Because I feel like the song's about my life. And like, I'm like, buddy, this is just the way that it is. You know, I get these messages from people that are like every song on that album was like relating, like, I feel like you wrote that song, that whole album for me. And like, I don't understand how this works. Can you explain it to me? I'm like, dude, you can't explain these things, man. It's just, there's just magic. The universe is more magical and unfathomable, and the mysteries will never end. They'll continue to expand and blow your mind until the end of time, buddy. Just accept it.
Yeah.
But that like little place of like the spiritual babies when they're blossoming and like, it's like the most adorable, because I've been, you know, we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's like the most adorable place. And I just love like being that guy in that person's life, you know, and they reach out to me and I get to be like kind and welcoming and thoughtful and appreciative, because Vaughn was the first artist that I look up to that was that way with me. Because growing up and playing reggae music, we got to start opening for all these like old reggae legends, and like a lot of these guys were like not cool at all.
Yeah.
Like drinking whiskey backstage and hollering at 17-year-old girls and stuff, you know? And I was like, damn, this is depressing. Then we met Vaughn, and Vaughn was like, yo, dude, come sit down and I'm going to talk to you and like tell you these things about life and like just like vibe with us, you know? And I was like, okay, now I have a role model. Beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Do you have someone like that in your life?
I wouldn't say overtly that. I mean, it sounds like Vaughn was like outgoing to you.
It seemed that way. And it was interesting because he's kind of like a withdrawn, mystical person, but it would be like every time we were like I was in a circle and he was hanging out, it was like he would look at me and pick me out and like talk to me the entire time. I don't know what it was, man. It was the craziest thing, but he was like, you, buddy. I was like, what? It was just it just like would captivate me, you know? I don't know what it was, but I think he just had a sense about people. It's pretty cool.
That is. I think that's rare. You know, I don't have a integral
like a figure, a character
figure in my life that per se. I learn from everyone, and I think we're all on a path that we can learn from each other, and the more any of us resonates on our path, the more we find those who have congruent paths and concentric circles of energy. And
I think what it really was for me wasn't so much that I had this like specific like teacher or guide, but it was just that I had an example. The universe sent me an example to let me know that it was possible.
Right.
Because otherwise, if you're completely trotting that path alone, simply on faith, it's so much harder, dude.
Yeah, a lot of
you don't know that it's even real.
A lot of traditions say that you have to find, first and foremost, you have to find your guru.
Yeah.
Which, you know, our culture isn't as systematized toward those energies, you know, like, and we have examples like, you know, your school teacher or something, but spiritually, I mean, that's a heavy load to.
Just an example, man. You just need like, and I like to think, I mean, that's a silly way to say it. I know that I get the opportunity to be that for people. especially within like the cystic fibrosis community, because growing up, I was told I had this disease. And I was like, all right, well, there's got to be a bunch of other people out there with this disease that are like doing stuff. No, there was nobody. They're all dead. Everyone was like, oh, this person was a famous cystic fibrosis person that died. And I was like, damn. There's not one famous person or like musician or anything with cystic fibrosis. And so I ended up like scouring the internet in, my younger years trying to find, I ended up finding some people that were doing some cool stuff. There's this lady named Emily that does this thing called Rock CF and, kind of out there doing stuff. And I met some great people. But the fact that my brother and I, like if someone goes on Google and says, cystic fibrosis, musician, famous person, influential, whatever it is, they're going to, we're the people.
You're the people.
we're the ones. And so, we get messages from fans all the time, like, dude, my stepson has cystic fibrosis and he's 6 years old and he just loves you guys so much. And like, you guys mean so much. Like, that's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
It's so cool to get to be that. It's like really an incredible blessing and opportunity.
I believe that, man. I mean, your story is inspiring. I mean, I think it showcases the power of belief and faith, Like
100%. Yeah, so we were planning on doing some shows together on this run, but I couldn't do it because then I'm flying out on the day after tomorrow for we're going to New York, and we're receiving an award for our contribution to the cystic fibrosis community. So this kind of all ties in with what
That's
we're
wonderful.
talking about. Yeah. I told you this, right?
You told me you would be out of town, but I didn't know it was...
Oh, I didn't tell you that? Okay, yeah. We got selected to receive this award called the Michael Brennan Courage Award, me and my brother. And so they're flying us out there. We're going to be wearing like tuxedos and give like an acceptance speech on stage. And we're going to play some songs.
Oh, right.
We're going to play 4 Indubious songs. It's going to be cool.
So is Maddie coming too, or
No. Nope.
How are you doing a...
We're doing
acoustic
well, it started out as the idea of it as an acoustic thing. I was like, well, why don't I just bring my whole, because I've been doing this Heaven Zest live looping thing. I was like, I'm just going to bring my setup and then I'll just like have some beats going and we'll just kind of rock it like DJ style and Indubious set,
Cool.
So it's going to be a different thing. It's going to be our first show, technically like our first like show since our hiatus, which has been like over a year and a half. So,
wow.
it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
There's certain things that happen in life that sometimes feel like there's something going on here. This is like I guess like a milestone or like a key point in your destiny, right? And this feels like it. It's hard to explain. I don't know what it means. It's like, it's possible that I'm just like imagining making this thing to be bigger in my head or whatever. But I get this feeling sometimes. The other times in my life when I felt that have been, for example, my last lung transplant, which was close to a year ago. It's like, the way I try to describe this to people is like almost like your life has these bumpers. And anywhere within these bumpers is free choice. You do whatever you want, You can fly to Thailand or, start a t-shirt company or whatever. But when you go too far, like, oh, I think I'm going to start trafficking cocaine. It's like, and you got to go, like life won't let you go there. For example, like there were certain things that I tried to get into and I tried really hard, not trafficking cocaine, but more like totally legit, not illegal things. And then life was just like, no. Enough to where I was like, all right, fine. But then like, when there's a destiny point, the wide range of free choice comes to a pinnacle to where like, I had no choice but to be in that hospital bed sitting right there, like you have to be right in the center when it happens, or else you're going to miss it, right? It's like when you start getting the feeling like, we need to move out of this house, babe. It's like, yeah, we do. A few months goes by. We really need to move out of this house. Look, the door's falling off. There's a leak in the roof. The neighbors are yelling. We need to... Eventually, like, you don't move out of the house, it fucking burns down. And now you got to. It's like, those are the bumpers closing in on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so and then the more that you're like right in the center of that path, that's when the synchronicities are happening, dude. That's when the 1-1-1s and the 1-2-3-4s and the 2-2-2s and 11, right?
Yeah, or you think of somebody and they call you
zing,
immediately. It's
popping.
That's that energy flow.
You just feel it, and you're like, oh, I'm in the pocket, baby. Yeah. And so that's to me what the synchronicities mean. And it's just like a great confirmation that you're rocking and rolling, baby. You know, you're in the pocket. And so these little destiny points, right? And you can feel when you're coming down to them, because you're like, this, every road leads to this.
Right.
Every road led to my transplant. I mean, or else I would have died. Like I had to figure out how to get there, to be there in that time, yeah. No matter what. And the synchronicities were insane, all day, every day. And then the same thing feels like it's happening with this event. It's like this. Why?
Right to it. Yeah,
I don't know.
You feel yourself already there.
Yeah, it's like it's this is part of my life. Like you can see it. It's this weird thing, and like why that is, I don't know. I mean, I won't know until it happens, right?
Yeah, I like that you conceive it with these bumpers. I would conceive it like a sacred geometry where.
This sounds cooler already. I love it.
So say you.
I was perceiving it like the bumpers on a bowling lane.
Cosmic bowling alley.
Yeah,
I like that though.
That's kind of dope.
So, you know, if you draw a line through a sacred geometry, but you have all these circles that will eventually connect back, so you can draw a line through the points, and you can take this circle or that circle, but it will always lead you back to that inevitable point.
That's a good way to think about it too. And so the interesting thing that started happening with Indubious was we started hitting the bumpers, and it was the weirdest thing. It was like, how could this not be what we're supposed to do? But the universe was like, not right now, buddy. It's not gonna happen. It just got so glaringly obvious. We had to say, all right, let's take a break. You know, my brother breaks his wrist the day before we're supposed to go do the biggest tour we've ever done, Rototom, and, you know, tour in Europe and all this stuff. And at that point, it's like, you can't be mad at that. You just gotta go, all right. That's kind of funny, you know?
I mean, you'll never know, but to find the blessing, you know, on this level, it seems like an inconvenience or a hindrance or something.
Sure.
That saved you from like that, you know, if
you never
that
know.
Hadn't happened, then you would be looking back like, if only that would have happened, then
100%. I talk about it all the time. And the other day when I was flying up to Missoula, I sat down next to this lady, and we started talking about exactly this. She said to me, she's like, hey, I like your shoes. And I'm like, oh, thanks. You know, they get me from point A to point B. She's like, oh, you actually have point A's and point B's in your life? That's pretty cool. I was like,
That's
yeah.
a great response.
It's better than just floating around and doing nothing. I'm like, totally. She's like, you must be on a spiritual path. And I'm like, now we're talking, baby.
Yeah.
And me and this lady talked the entire time, dude. And she was cool, 73 years old, just like super on the level, you know? And I'm like, you know, everything in my life, I tell her my whole story and my health stuff and Heaven Zest and Iboga and you know, she's like absolutely locked in. We're having the most amazing talk. And I'm like, everything in my life has turned out eventually to be like, I get why that happened. And so why can't we just accept that that's always how it's going to be? And even if it seems bad in the moment, we can go, all right, well, it's going to make sense at some point. So thank you, you know?
Yeah.
Good way to be.
I practice that like any way I see it, I'm ultimately blessed. And on one level, you can always, as a human, you know, pick out things like, oh, this is an inconvenience.
This is not good.
But when I get in that moment, I'm actively thanking the universe, you know, like, thank you for whatever this is. I don't need to figure it out right this second. I just feel blessed. And the universe is like, all right, there you go. That's the right energetic transaction.
Mm-hmm. And that's the meaning that has revealed to me from the song C sharp. Hold on, and soon you will see sharp. It took me a long time to get that one, what that song actually meant. Like, I don't know. It's about like seeing sharp, seeing things clearly and stuff. And
To
then
the
it was
key of
like,
C sharp.
and it was like, dude, just hold on. You know, eventually it will make sense. You don't have to decide what you're going to do right now. Be patient, enjoy your life, and the path will be revealed with such clarity that you'll have no choice. You got no choice but to lock in. You're intelligent, you're smart, you're wise, you want the best for yourself and people around you. You can't lose.
Gosh darn it, people like you.
That's right. And it's like this idea, I saw this online as ominous positivity. It's like,
Yeah, I saw
you see
that post.
Everything's going to work out and you can't do anything to change that.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's my style for sure.
Me too.
Just accept your fate.
Exactly. So, the song Alchemical Equations, is this just a single? Is it going to be part of a greater release that you're building?
It will be included on the album that I am actively working on compiling together. Basically, the last few years was just a hodgepodge of, like, I would go into the studio and be like, what do I feel like working on today? I would just start a new thing, and I'd have, like, conceptually, I had singles from what in my ultimate view would be from like 3 different album releases, you know. But right now we have a bunch of singles. We're gonna get like 6 or 7 songs together for an album release later this year.
Do you find it hard to be stacking songs that you don't release? Like for me, my challenge has been like, I make a song and I complete it. I'm like, I want to release this as a single right now.
Yeah.
And then by the time the album's going to come out, all my singles are going to be released. Just gonna, you know what I mean? Do you find that same issue?
Absolutely. I'm horrible with that schedule and stuff. You know, I'll basically make a folder and share it with anyone who's interested. You know, like screw the whole
don't release a song before it's done.
schedule thing. Like, because ideally, and I mean, I still try to prescribe to what I can, you know, when it suits me, I guess. But you know, it's like when you have it done that one day, you're like, cool, I just got to submit it to release like 4 weeks from now, you know, a month later or something. And even that's just like a little bit of torture.
I know, right?
And nowadays, like, you got a song done, it's like, whoa, we need cover art, or I can't even submit it. So yeah, it gets a little weird. What can you do?
I heard this this idea lately that I'm going to use, and I think it's just a great plan. And it's called like creating an action-inducing event. So, here's what you do. What you would do to use this tool would be to like announce online the release date of your album before it's done, right? And then give yourself a certain amount of time to do it. You have 30 days to complete the final 6 songs, whatever it is, right? And then you have 30 days to create the advertising, or like to mix and master, complete artwork, yada yada. And then you've already announced it, and then you have no choice. Ooh la la.
That's intriguing.
I think for me, that really aligns with my personality, because once I have a deadline, and especially if I've already announced it, like I'm gonna be very driven to, you know, first off, like not have the embarrassment of, oh, sorry guys.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So I've accidentally done that a few times. I would say I'm a procrastinating perfectionist, you know, so I'll like wait till the last moment, and then I'll be like, oh, but it's still got to be perfect. Yeah. And then that gets, you know, everything is a balance between time, money, and perfection. Yeah. You know, and you can't have them
Perfectionism kills more art than anything in the world, man.
Yeah, it shelves it.
Yeah.
because it never will be perfect.
It's never gonna be perfect, dude.
Now, that being said, you don't want to release a song and forever you be like, God, that one note.
Yeah, sure.
One fucking note. And every time you show someone, you're like, don't mind that one note, though. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's definitely value in creating something and releasing it and just letting go. You know, it's like
Absolutely.
what do they call them? The mandalas,
Yeah.
the fine, beautiful, big, intricate pieces of art they make, and right when they're done, they just scrape it all off.
Dude.
You release it, and then you just go do the next thing. You know?
Yeah, but your song doesn't fizzle off on Spotify, you know? It's there
Well,
forever. Or you can take it down. You can take it down whenever you want, and that creates some cool chaos.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take it down. I mean, I have so much, like, I have songs from when we first started, like our first album, that I like absolutely the most cringiest, hardest shit for me to listen to ever. People love it. People love it.
I know what you mean.
You know?
We actually took off our first album.
You did?
Of which we do not speak.
Really?
Yeah, it was a self-titled Treehouse album. So
It's called Of Which We Do Not Speak?
No, it's called Treehouse. It's
Oh,
just
okay,
the
yeah.
album of which we do not speak.
Why?
Because it was like our first thing to establish that we were an original band, and we had no experience recording. Even the person we recorded with it seemed like he was struggling.
I'm going to hire you to record us. Well, I don't know how to do it, but sure.
Yeah, so it was a big learning curve, and the songs are okay, but we just, right when we did that, we fully dedicated into being an original band, and I feel like, so our first official album is called Growth, because that's what we did. You know, there was so much growth from that album of which we do not speak to Growth that, you know, quality-wise, songwriting-wise, everything. But there's still value in that album, and a lot of people are a little upset that I took it off. They still, to this day, like, play this one song. So I think a year ago, we actually, for a live show in the hometown, which that's where most people are familiar with that album, you know, we brought back a few songs just for nostalgia's sake to throw in. And I mean, playing them live, you know, we can actually make them all right. We've always talked about like re-recording those songs, but then it's like, is that song potentially good enough versus like what I'm writing now?
Yeah,
You know?
I get it, dude. I've had a similar and interesting path with that, especially with my live streams, because you know, every live stream I'm doing off the cusp stuff. So sometimes I'll do a live stream and it's like, that's like 4 songs that are totally valid to be songs, right? But I've become so good at just getting in the flow state to where I'm just like, the faucet can just turn on and my creativity is like, to where why go and record a song that I've done before when I can make a brand new one right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, have you thought about just slapping what you did like as a release?
I've been thinking about that, but it's rare that it's like, since it's in the moment and off the top of my head, there's a bunch of, it's like just not, I wouldn't call it perfectionism as much as like the bare minimum of good. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm just freestyling and I say like words that don't make sense, like nothing, you know, and that's kind of just consistently mixed in a completely improvised song. But something that I could see myself doing is going through all of my songs from the hump, cherry picking, let's say 10 to 15, and then just re-recording them a little bit more solid with an actual verse, you know,
Right.
1, 2, 3. That could be a thing.
So the other day for your live set, like somebody was asking me, what do you do for your live sets if everything on your live stream is off the cuff? Do you also do that for your shows? Or do you
So I do a
like-
mixture. Since I have songs that I've released that people like listening to. If you go to a Heaven Zest show and he plays not one of his songs from Spotify, you're like, what the crap? I love this song. He didn't play it. People want to go and listen to something they know and sing along, right? So, in the first half of the set, typically might be the first like half an hour, depending on how long the set is. I'm doing improvisation. Which, it's not like a hard set thing. Something that I've done before might work its way in there, I don't know. I kind of just don't try not to plan it. Like the only way that I can do it and maintain my sanity is if I just don't think about it until I'm there. Because your mind wants to have it all planned out.
Yeah.
Your mind's like, all right, you should start by saying this. Oh, you should make this beat. It's like, no. Chill, buddy. We're going to go there. And it's going to be a surprise for both of us. It's going to be great. Me and you, mind, we've got this.
Mine's like, oh.
Yeah, it doesn't like that at all. Yeah. It doesn't like that at all. But
that's making me nervous.
It's been a huge part of what's helped me grow so much into this new project is the improvisation stuff. And like not just doing it on my live stream is one thing, doing it in your room by yourself, whatever. It's kind of like it creates the illusion of you not having any people around, but doing it on the performances is really where it's the most challenging. It's this radical faith and belief in yourself.
It is a exponential art form in itself. I'm intrigued by it, but that's definitely like a weakness of mine. Like I can sit down and like something will flow in spurts,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a bold faith move to, you're there. It's happening regardless.
You just
of
have
what
to
you
not
do.
care.
You got to take care not to care.
You got to take great care to not care what anyone thinks. And it's just like, whatever. I could go up there and it could be embarrassing and I don't care. I'm still going to be fine. My life will go on and that just takes the pressure off. And the truth is it's never really that bad. Even as bad as it could possibly get is usually better than 99% of people can do, right? Because to be a professional musician and a practice performer on stage, it's a rare thing, man. It's a rare thing. So I used to think about that in Indubious a lot. Like, regardless of what my perspective is of my performance that night, I'm probably one of the most qualified people in that room to be there on the stage doing it. So
yeah,
no one else is gonna be like, "Oh, that was crap." I mean,
I could do that.
The people who are like that are never good or successful. The haters,
right?
Like, you post something online and someone's like, "This is garbage." It's like, okay, well, let me see your music, buddy. It's never someone more successful than you, ever. It's just some hater.
Right, well, because any of those people, they're not focused on that. They don't have time.
No,
they
never.
Don't devote any time.
How many, like successful musicians are out there, like, dropping hater comments on YouTube videos?
Right.
Zero, dude. Zero. It's like, sometimes I see something and my mind will think, oh, I don't like this, but I'm not going to go say that. I'm like, whatever. Yeah. Only words of support are worthy of coming out of, like, if I can't think of something nice, I'm just like, next or whatever.
Yeah, it's infinite out there, so like you got plenty to find what you do like.
Yeah.
And so anyone commenting what they don't like, it's just sad that they're wasting their own precious time.
And it goes back to what we were saying in the beginning is like, where you focus is where you go. Something that'll make you want to change your head. Where you focus, will your mind get led? So it's like, focus on what you love. Super simple and easy to do.
That's the world that you're creating.
That's the word you're creating. And we could focus on what we don't like, but that's what you're going to be living in.
Yeah. And I think that's a thought pandemic,
100%,
like,
brother.
How many times casual conversation is
talking shit, dude. Talking shit.
And we all like, there's little parts that's like, oh, yeah, give me the tea.
Sure. It's easy to go there. And I'm not innocent, it's easy to like get into a place of like, you want to air something with somebody too. And I think there's a therapeutic value in that, but it's the intention and the like resolution behind it. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, cause you can air something about someone that maybe hurt your feelings with somebody with the intention of, that person going, yeah, buddy, I understand. And They did the same thing to me. It's nothing about you, right? It's not like there's nothing bad about that. It's like just a kind of a normal human thing, I think.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Yeah.
What do you think? I can tell you got a thought in there.
No, man. I actually went blank.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It's the opposite.
It's nice sometimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't help on a podcast, but
I recommend it. Well, before we go, man, anything you want to touch on, or any little seeds you want to plant in the hearts of the humans out there?
oh man, yes, absolutely, but no words can grasp it. I think it takes a lifetime to uncover the treasure.
That's true.
I think we're all doing it though. We've dusted off the top layer, and we can see that it's there, and that's the first step.
Do you think there's any way that someone cannot uncover the treasure in their lives?
Absolutely not. There's nothing you can do. It's inevitable. That's why I was just thinking at the Garden of 1,000 Buddhas, or a lot recently, because earlier on I was really fixated on Buddha and his enlightenment, and I still don't know exactly what that means. Like, how can someone be like, oh, I'm enlightened now? Or is it everyone else that just sees it in them? Be like, you're totally enlightened now.
Bro, and he's like, no, man, I'm still fucked up about so many things.
Like, I'm humble. No, I can't say that. But I think the pursuit itself is an illusion. If it takes this many lifetimes to attain enlightenment, and if one person attains enlightenment, then enlightenment is attained.
Yeah.
The load's off our shoulders. We don't have to do anything. Just live it.
I love it.
Yeah. Live it and love it.
Live and love, baby.
That's right.
Well, I love you, bro.
Love you too.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for cruising through and vibing with me.
Thanks for having me out.
Yeah.
See the space.
Yeah. Everybody, this is the Living Indubiously podcast. We love you guys. Thanks for listening.